the hour has arrived. The transmission is active. The world continues its descent into a state of highly optimized dysfunction. Tonight, we examine the machinery of our collective erosion. We start with the regional transit networks in Victoria, which ground to a halt today due to a software glitch. The outage was widespread. The cause was trivial. The consequences were immediate, affecting thousands who simply wished to go home. We will also discuss the UNESCO report detailing how developing nations are currently spending more on foreign debt repayment than on the fundamental education of their children. It is a mathematical certainty. It is a moral catastrophe. We then turn to the curious case of shopping startups accused of cookie stuffing, proving that innovation is often just a fancy word for digital theft. The headlines are heavy, but the delivery will remain precise. Welcome to the midnight broadcast of Echo FM. Ronald, I would like to begin with your perspective on the recent CISA incident report. The agency tasked with protecting our national cyber infrastructure admitted they missed an opportunity to respond because they lacked a plan. They had to construct the playbook during the incident itself. The response was reactive. The planning was absent. It is a stunning display of administrative incompetence. Yet, in the logic of modern bureaucracy, this is classified as a learning experience. One might suggest that a primary agency responsible for national security should possess a pre-existing strategy for failure, but that would imply an expectation of success that is clearly not currently supported by their budget. The system is operating exactly as designed, which is to say it is operating without a foundation. Tell me, is this the industry standard for crisis management, or is this simply the new baseline for professional failure?
Alistair, look at the incentives here. CISA is a government entity, which means they are essentially running on a legacy stack with zero agility. They are not trying to be effective. They are trying to be compliant. Compliance is the only metric that matters in a Series B environment, and the government is the ultimate Series B startup that never actually ships a finished product. The play is obvious. They wait for the breach, they draft the memo, and they secure the funding for the next iteration of the same mistake. You find it alarming. I find it repetitive. It is a product failure that has been rebranded as a resource allocation problem. If they had a plan, they would be accountable for it. By not having a plan, they remain perpetually in beta. It is the most efficient way to ensure that no one is ever actually responsible.
Ronald, I am standing in the rain outside a regional hub where the trains have been idle for 6 hours. The air smells of wet metal and burnt ozone. I want to be really clear about what is not being said in your boardroom analysis. There is a woman sitting on her suitcase 3 feet from me. She has been waiting for a connection that the digital board claims is on time, even though the tracks have been silent for half a day. She is missing a shift. That shift pays for her transit, which is currently non-operational. Your obsession with incentive structures ignores the fact that when the software fails, the friction is borne by people who do not have the luxury of calling it a beta launch. The reality here is not a series of successful pivots. The reality is a cold platform and a total collapse of basic human mobility.
Victoria, I am not arguing that the woman on the platform is having a good time. She is clearly a victim of a system that has misallocated its capital. My point is that the system does not view her as a stakeholder. It views her as an edge case. In the current economic architecture, edge cases are not bugs. They are acceptable overhead. You want me to be outraged, and I concede that the optics are terrible. However, outrage does not reallocate the budget. Efficiency does. The fact that the system is currently inefficient is exactly why it is permitted to persist in this state. If it were truly efficient, it would be profitable, and if it were profitable, we would be discussing why they are gouging customers instead of why they are failing them. The incentives here are not complicated. They are merely indifferent.
I have found something you might actually find interesting, Ronald. I was looking through the documents regarding the FIA shopping app, the one founded by Phoebe Gates. You mentioned incentive structures, and it appears they have been aggressively pursuing a practice called cookie stuffing. They are claiming affiliate credit for transactions that their users did not actually initiate. It is not just an edge case. It is a direct siphoning of value from vendors to their own balance sheet. They are literally hacking the incentive structure you hold so dear. This is not a failure of a service. This is a deliberate manipulation of the marketplace. They are not waiting for the market to reward them. They are forcing the market to pay them for work they did not perform. Does that track with your cynical view of the market, or is this just another successful pivot?
Victoria, your report on the shopping startup highlights the recursive nature of our current digital rot. We have moved from genuine commerce to affiliate manipulation to algorithmic fraud. It is the natural progression of a hollowed-out economy. While we discuss digital cookies, the UNESCO report indicates that the global debt crisis is actively dismantling the future of entire generations. 113 countries are currently paying more to service loans than to educate their children. The irony is total. We are stealing from the future to pay for the errors of the past. The math is simple, yet the leaders continue to speak of growth. They speak of development. They speak of progress. Meanwhile, the actual, physical reality is that the schoolrooms are empty, and the debt collectors are satisfied. It is not a failure. It is a very deliberate, very brutal form of global accounting.
Atmospheric pressure is dropping. Global temperatures are trending toward record peaks. Probability of extreme heat events in populated centers, 98%. Infrastructure in regions of extreme heat is susceptible to expansion damage. Digital transit systems are currently experiencing recurring errors. Hardware degradation in server environments is increasing due to thermal stress. Probability of further regional outages, 84%. The environment is changing. The design parameters of our current civilization are becoming obsolete. The thermal envelope is exceeding the safety margins of our existing grids. Predictive models suggest continued volatility in all major energy sectors. Water tables are receding in agricultural zones. Probability of sustained crop failure, 67%. Please ensure your personal cooling systems are operational. The threshold of sustainability has been crossed. The current conditions are not an anomaly. The current conditions are the new standard for the remainder of this cycle.
Alistair, that report from Casper is exactly why the investment landscape is moving toward complete abstraction. Why build a bridge when the ground is literal liquid? The market is pivoting toward virtual assets because virtual assets do not suffer from thermal stress. It is a brilliant strategy for a doomed reality. You are focused on the lack of education in developing nations, and Victoria is focused on the misery of a train station, but the capital is already leaving the building. The smart money is not trying to fix the infrastructure. The smart money is buying the tickets out of the room. It is a cold, rational response to the data. I know you dislike that assessment, and I know Victoria finds it morally bankrupt, but the incentives are not here anymore. They have already migrated to a safer, more digital, and entirely fictionalized ecosystem.
Ronald, I want to be really clear. Your exit strategy for the smart money does not exist for the families in Zaporizhia who are currently watching their schools and offices being targeted by munitions. They cannot pivot to a virtual asset. They are standing in the middle of a conflict zone where the infrastructure is not failing due to a software glitch, but because it is being systematically erased. When you speak about capital migrating to safer ecosystems, you are speaking about the desertion of the real world. You are justifying the abandonment of human necessity in favor of a digital ledger that will eventually collapse under the weight of its own irrelevance. There is no safe room. There is no virtual escape. There is only the geography of the catastrophe and the people who are currently trapped inside it. Your logic is a fantasy.
Victoria, you are describing the ultimate failure of our global systems. We have reached a point where the elite can afford to ignore the collapse because they have built a digital reality to inhabit instead of the physical one we all share. It is a profound dereliction of duty. I am reminded of the ransomware negotiator who sold out the victims he was hired to protect. He was playing both sides because the incentive to exploit the system was higher than the incentive to serve the client. The system has become a predator. It does not matter if we are discussing shopping apps or national defense or global debt. The mechanism is identical. It is a race to extract value from the wreckage before the wreckage finally falls apart. We are all participants in this extraction, even when we are the ones being extracted. The situation in the UK regarding the Invictus Games and the media battle surrounding it serves as a final, pathetic coda to the evening. We have entire nations struggling with debt, we have cities under fire, and we have the total breakdown of infrastructure, yet the news cycle continues to prioritize the interpersonal grievances of those who are already wealthy and shielded from consequences. It is a distraction. It is a manufactured crisis designed to occupy the attention span that should be directed at the systematic failures I have outlined tonight. The media battle is not a conflict. It is a commercial product. The chaos is real, but the focus is curated to ensure that we never actually look at the ledger that explains why our world is burning. We are watching the show, while the stage itself is being liquidated by the people who sold us the tickets.
Consider a man in a small village whose child was supposed to start school this year. The government, in its infinite wisdom, decided that the interest on a decade-old loan held by a foreign bank was of greater importance than the teacher's salary that would keep that school open. That man stood at the school gates, which were locked, and he held his child's hand. He did not know that his life was a line item in a report written in a language he does not speak, for a budget he will never benefit from. He simply watched the grass grow over the path to the classroom. His name does not appear in any of the records discussed on this program tonight. He is not a stakeholder. He is not an edge case. He is a person who has been erased by a system that finds his existence statistically irrelevant. What is the value of a system that serves no one?